A $100 million estate left to decay. A 50,000 square foot palace no one dares to call home. And a luxurious residence so chilling that even its owner ran from it.
A multi-million-dollar mansion in the Hollywood Hills has been covered in graffiti. The four-story home on Sunset Plaza Drive has been abandoned for years.
Have you ever driven by an old mansion and wondered what secrets lie inside? Well, tonight we take you inside a 140-year-old home in Leavenworth, where the new owner is finding treasures behind the walls and under the floor.
These are Hollywood's most eerie abandoned mansions, where wealth, mystery, and paranormal whispers collide. Neverland Ranch, Michael Jackson's lost fantasy. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch was once a dreamland straight out of a fairy tale. Sprawling across 2,700 acres in California, it was a magical kingdom with a personal amusement park, zoo, miniature railway, and its very own movie theater. Built as an escape from reality, it was Jackson's attempt to reclaim the childhood he never truly had. But today, that dream has faded. After Jackson's passing in 2009, Neverland was left in silence. The carousel is frozen in time. The Ferris wheel stands still. Weeds snake across the train tracks, and once vibrant gardens have turned into wild, untamed brush. The once sparkling fountains now sit cracked and dry beneath the California sun. Inside the 13-bedroom, 7-bathroom mansion, the air feels heavy. The halls that once rang with laughter now echo with silence. Some visitors report an eerie weight, like the house refuses to let go of its past. Others claim to hear distant giggles, see fleeting shadows, and feel a strange presence in certain rooms. Some believe Jackson's spirit never left, still bound to the one place that felt like home. Financially, the estate became a burden. Once valued at a jaw-dropping $100 million, it was eventually sold in 2020 for just $22 million. The cost of upkeep? Over $50,000 a month, just to keep it from crumbling into ruin? Though abandoned, Neverland remains an iconic piece of pop culture. But the question lingers. Will it ever come back to life? Or is it destined to remain a forgotten shrine to one of music's most legendary figures? Mike Tyson's Ohio mansion, echoes of power and pain. Our next stop brings us to a place where opulence meets eerie silence. Mike Tyson's abandoned Ohio estate. At 25,000 square feet, this extravagant property mirrored the peak of Tyson's boxing dominance.
Really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round.
Everything was larger than life. Gold-plated bathrooms, a massive basketball court, a colossal swimming pool, and even enclosures for his pet tigers. But when Tyson's fortune took a downturn in the early 2000s, he walked away, leaving behind more than just a home.
But when God's ready to take you, you could be a billionaire or whatever, and then you say, I can't die, I have so much, and God says, come with me.
Now nature is reclaiming the space. Trees push through cracked tennis courts, algae coats the once clear pool, and dust blankets the grand interiors. The estate feels less like a home and more like a forgotten fortress of a fallen king. Locals and thrill seekers who dare to explore it say something sinister lingers. Mysterious footsteps echo through the halls. Faint whispers bounce off the empty walls. One chilling account describes the sound of a punch, loud and violent, followed by a crash. Yet no one else was in the room. Shadowy figures have been spotted, vanishing just as quickly as they appear. Many believe the mansion is haunted by the energy of Tyson's turbulent past, his struggles, his fury, and the emotional scars left behind. Originally listed at $7.5 million, the property eventually dropped to $1.3 million and still couldn't find a buyer. After sitting in limbo for years, it was finally transformed into a church.
Trumbull County now, where the renovation of Mike Tyson's former mansion is almost finished, and much of the work done by church members.
First News reporter Molly Reed toured the massive building today and found out what a local church is doing with this property.
Even now, visitors say something still feels off, as if the building remembers the chaos it once housed. 50 Cent's Connecticut estate, a castle of crumbling dreams. What happens when even a global superstar can't afford the dream? Welcome to 50 Cent's colossal Connecticut mansion, a symbol of success turned financial nightmare. Covering a staggering 50,000 square feet, the estate featured 21 bedrooms, 25 bathrooms, an indoor nightclub, a music studio, basketball court, and even a helipad. It was meant to be the ultimate playground for a hip-hop mogul. But for 50 Cent, it never felt like home. He purchased the property for $4.1 million, then tried to sell it for $18.5 million, but nobody wanted it. The price dropped again and again, finally reaching $2.9 million with no serious buyers in sight. Why? The cost of upkeep was astronomical. Just heating the place through winter was more than most people's annual rent. Slowly, the mansion began to decay. The indoor pool stood empty. Gigantic rooms felt lifeless. Hallways that once echoed with parties now whispered with silence. Visitors described a strange sensation, like the home itself knew it was unwanted. Some even claimed to hear phantom footsteps and faint music drifting from nowhere. Whether it's haunted by spirits or just by financial regret, one thing's for sure. The house became a ghostly monument to an oversized dream gone wrong. Eventually, 50 Cent sold the estate for the deeply discounted price of $2.9 million, taking a massive loss. But even after changing hands, the mansion remains a chilling reminder that in Hollywood, even empires can crumble. Nicolas Cage's New Orleans mansion, a curse wrapped in elegance. Nicolas Cage has always been drawn to the eccentric and the extraordinary, but one of his most mysterious real estate choices turned out to be more than he bargained for. In New Orleans, Cage purchased a grand 1832 estate steeped in one of the darkest histories imaginable. This wasn't just a historic home, it was once owned by Madame Delphine Lalaurie, a socialite infamous for unspeakable horrors hidden within her lavish home. Tales of torture, hidden chambers, and tragic souls trapped in agony turned the property into a legend of terror. Cage acquired the mansion for $3.5 million, perhaps drawn by its infamy. But shortly after moving in, unsettling experiences began to unfold. Footsteps echoed through empty hallways. Doors slammed shut without warning. Whispers, cold drafts, and eerie sensations became a regular occurrence. Guests swore they saw a ghostly woman dressed in antique clothes standing on the staircase, only to watch her vanish into thin air. Paranormal investigators rushed to the site, eager to capture the dark energy said to reside within. Most left convinced that something malevolent still lurked behind those walls. Cage, despite his flair for the unusual, couldn't bear the presence any longer. He sold the property at a major loss and walked away. Even now, the mansion sits like a Gothic monument to suffering and sorrow, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. Jackie Collins's Beverly Hills mansion, where luxury feels wrong.
With a poison pen in her 9th bestseller, Hollywood Wives.
I mean, there were so many furious Hollywood wives when the book came out. They were really furious. There were women that came up to me at parties and said, "You've written about my husband, and what do you know about our lifestyle? You're a stranger in town." And I said, "I'm not a stranger in town. I've been coming here since I was 15 years old."
Jackie Collins was a Hollywood icon, a best-selling novelist who lived in the kind of opulence she so often wrote about. Her Beverly Hills mansion was an embodiment of that world. 20,000 square feet of grandeur with a private cinema for 100 guests, an art gallery, a sprawling library, and a gym rivaling elite fitness clubs. But after her death in 2015, the energy inside shifted. Despite its prime location and unmatched amenities, the home became nearly impossible to sell. Real estate agents described an odd stillness inside. Some potential buyers reported an overwhelming unease, like being watched. The mansion, once alive with energy and extravagance, felt emotionally frozen in time. Some speculate that the spirit of Jackie Collins remains there, not necessarily haunting the space, but leaving behind a powerful presence that resists being forgotten. After all, the house was a perfect extension of her vibrant persona. Without her, it feels off. To this day, the mansion hasn't shaken that strange aura. It remains a luxurious shell with a haunting atmosphere that no amount of staging can disguise. Whitney Houston's New Jersey mansion, a home in mourning. Nestled on 5 private acres, Whitney Houston's New Jersey estate was built to be a sanctuary of music, creativity, and comfort. It included a private salon, a custom recording studio, a personal movie theater, and a spacious game room filled with vintage arcade machines. It was more than a home. It was where Whitney found joy and solitude. But following her tragic death in 2012, the estate took on a very different character. Though visually stunning, the home became eerily quiet. The pool was left unused. The game room sat still, its once blinking lights dark. The joyful noise that once filled its halls was replaced by an unsettling silence. Visitors began reporting odd experiences: flickering lights, sudden chills, and the feeling of unseen eyes watching them. Some locals even claimed to have spotted silhouettes moving behind curtains, despite the mansion being completely vacant. The house went up for sale more than once, but each time buyers backed out. Whether deterred by the steep maintenance costs or the heavy emotional history, the result was the same. The house stayed empty. For many, this estate is more than a beautiful home. It's a solemn tribute to one of music's greatest voices and a place still echoing with sorrow. Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home, a legacy preserved in shadows. Marilyn Monroe's final residence wasn't just a house. It was the only home she ever bought for herself. Tucked away in Brentwood, Los Angeles, the Spanish colonial-style home was meant to be her peaceful escape from fame. She filled it with bright art, cozy decor, and personal charm. It reflected her longing for stability, a safe haven far from Hollywood's glare. But in 1962, just months after moving in, Monroe died under tragic and mysterious circumstances, forever tying the home to heartbreak. Over the years, it has remained largely untouched, preserved as a historic landmark. Yet those who step inside report more than just a vintage vibe. They speak of strange lights, soft whispers in the night, and an overwhelming sense of melancholy. Some say a woman in white has been seen near the bedroom window, only to fade into nothingness moments later. Unlike other abandoned mansions, this one has been lovingly maintained. But even so, it holds a palpable stillness, as though Monroe's spirit lingers in the place she longed to call home.
Yes. Well, you're a happy girl now.
John Wayne's California Ranch, the cowboy who never left. John Wayne, the ultimate Hollywood cowboy,
sooner or later we'd have to find out which one of us was faster,
spent his final years on a sprawling ranch in California's San Fernando Valley, a real-life Western escape where he could live the frontier life he so often portrayed on screen. Covering over 1,500 acres, the estate featured a grand residence, open pastures, stables, and endless trails. It was more than a home, it was a lifestyle. Here, Wayne hosted gatherings, rode horses, and enjoyed quiet moments away from the spotlight. But after his death in 1979, everything changed. Without its larger-than-life owner, the ranch slipped into disrepair. The house grew quiet, paint peeled, windows cracked, and the land once filled with galloping horses became eerily still. Visitors today describe a strange atmosphere, an invisible weight, as if the ranch remembers its glory days and refuses to let them go. Some say Wayne's spirit never truly left, continuing to patrol his land in the afterlife. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, walking the grounds after dark is an experience that few forget. The Duke's legacy lives on, not just in film, but in a ranch where time seems to stand still, and shadows stretch just a little too long across the open fields. James Dean's final home, a quiet place that echoes with tragedy. Before his life was cut short at just 24 years old, James Dean found peace in a modest ranch-style home in Cholame, California. Unlike the extravagant estates of other stars, Dean's house was humble, a red-tiled roof, wood siding, and a cozy porch that overlooked the rolling countryside. Inside, the rooms were simple, a small kitchen, a couple of bedrooms, and a quaint living space. But to Dean, it was a sanctuary, a break from the flashing lights and fanfare. After his fatal car crash in 1955, the house was abandoned. It still stands today, frozen in time. Those who visit say the house feels strangely heavy. Whispers seem to travel through the halls. Cold breezes appear out of nowhere. Some claim to see fleeting shadows at the windows, figures that vanish when approached. It's not just a house. It's a time capsule of unrealized dreams, a symbol of a young life lost too soon. As the sun dips below the horizon, the home becomes even more haunting. The silence is almost deafening. Some believe James Dean's presence still lingers, tethered to the last place he ever called home. Madonna's Hidden Hills mansion, a pop queen's quick escape. Madonna has owned many stunning properties, but one of her most curious real estate moves was the purchase and rapid sale of a 12,000 square foot modern mansion in Hidden Hills. The estate was a marvel of design. Sleek architecture, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, a private movie theater, a dance studio, and a wine cellar capable of holding 10,000 bottles. It screamed modern luxury. She bought it for $19.3 million. But within just a year, Madonna sold it and never looked back. Why the sudden departure? Some say the mansion never felt quite right. Despite its beauty, visitors described an odd coldness. The landscaping grew wild. The infinity pool remained untouched. Rooms were filled with high-end furniture, but the place felt empty. Contractors and visitors reported an energy that was unsettling, hard to describe, not malevolent, but not welcoming either. Whether it was a simple real estate decision or something more mysterious, one thing is clear: the mansion remains on the market, sitting in silence, waiting for someone brave or bold enough to make it their own. Lucille Ball's Beverly Hills home, laughter that still lingers. Lucille Ball brought joy to millions with her timeless comedy and magnetic presence.
About you dancing with Van Johnson.
It's not nonsense. I did dance with Van Johnson.
Her Beverly Hills home was once a place brimming with life, love, and Hollywood charm. Located at 1000 North Roxbury Drive, this mid-century masterpiece was filled with laughter, famous guests, and the golden glow of old Hollywood. But after Lucille passed away in 1989, the house changed. New owners and guests reported odd events. Lights flickering without cause, strange noises coming from the attic, boxes moving by themselves. One of the eeriest stories involved the sudden playing of the I Love Lucy theme, despite no visible source of music. The property has changed hands several times, but no one seems to stay for long. Some believe Lucille herself remains, watching over her home and perhaps playing a few ghostly pranks along the way. The house has also undergone modern renovations, replacing vintage charm with more sterile designs. But despite its new appearance, the energy inside hasn't shifted. Many say it still feels like Lucille never really left. Hollywood's most haunting abandoned mansion. Cary Grant's Beverly Hills estate, a glamorous shell of the past. Cary Grant embodied sophistication and timeless charm.
That sounds more like your mother than you.
And his Beverly Hills estate was a stunning reflection of that image. Spread across 4 manicured acres, the property featured panoramic views, elegant mid-century architecture, and luxurious gardens that once hosted the most elite stars of Hollywood's golden era. It was a haven for the rich and famous, a place of champagne soirees and cinematic legends. But after Grant's death in 1986, the estate's story began to shift. Slowly but surely, the grandeur faded.
In Davenport, Iowa, preparing a lecture when he complained that he didn't feel well. Within hours, he died of a massive stroke.
The once pristine walls began to crack, the lush gardens became overgrown, and the elegant home that had once buzzed with life now stood hauntingly quiet, like a ghost waiting for someone who would never return. Despite its location and legacy, the property struggled to find a buyer. Realtors came and went. Renovation plans were proposed but never completed. Visitors have described a strange stillness in the air, an unshakable sense that someone or something is still lingering. Cold drafts pass through empty halls. The sound of footsteps echoes when no one's there. The energy of old Hollywood seems to cling to the very walls, refusing to be erased. Cary Grant's home remains not just a forgotten estate, but a symbol of Hollywood's glamorous past, and a reminder that even the brightest stars eventually fade into the shadows.
Recruits are not allowed to smoke during office hours. Put a fresh bottle of water on that cooler, please.
Yes.
These abandoned mansions are more than empty homes. They're echoes of dreams, legends, and lives that helped shape the very fabric of Hollywood. Behind every grand facade is a story of beauty, tragedy, and mystery. From whispered footsteps to cold corridors frozen in time, each of these estates carries an energy you can't quite explain. They remind us that even in the world of unimaginable luxury, the past never truly lets go. So tell us, would you dare to spend a night in one of these ghostly estates? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear which mansion you found the most chilling. If you enjoyed this journey through Hollywood's haunted history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Luxuria Lounge, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the world of wealth, mystery, and forgotten luxury. More jaw-dropping stories are on the way. Until then, stay curious, stay bold, and remember, some houses don't just hold memories, they hold on to you.